Well, this is kind of going down to the wire. There have been last-minute talks behind closed doors, a special parliamentary commission with members of the different parties and groups in the French Senate and the lower house meeting to decide whether they scrap this bill or whether they can find a way forward and bring it back before Parliament. So in order to do that, we think that the government is going to have to make some pretty major concessions to the right in French politics, les Républicains, the Conservatives in French politics, and basically sacrifice some of the elements of this bill which would perhaps have appealed to more left-leaning end of Emmanuel Macron's centrist party. So it looks like, for example, a part of the bill which would give an amnesty to undocumented workers in France, of which there are several 100,000, that could be out. So there's going to be some pretty angry left-of-centre politicians going forward. Even in Macron's own party, we're told there could be up to 20 rebels there who might abstain or even vote against the government if it goes on to the next stage. So that could be the next difficulty for the government. But in terms of making it tougher, therefore, there might have also had to be further concessions to the right. So increasing the time limit from which foreign residents of France can claim family benefits from 6 months. They have to live in France for the moment to 6 months. That could be up to 5 years. Things like that, making it easier to expel people, including minors as well, making it tougher. France take a tougher line on immigration across the board. So we don't know what the details are, if there will be an agreement to get this bill forward, but it would be a pretty humiliating climb down for Emmanuel Macron's government if this commission decides to scrap it, or if indeed it gets voted out by Parliament if it goes forward from this commission stage.
And Catherine, even if it does move forward now, do you think the row over the bill represents an erosion of Macron's power? Because, as I said earlier, he doesn't have a parliamentary majority at the moment.
That's right. This has been one of the flagship pieces of legislation that Macron's government had hoped to bring forward under the president's second term. It's already been delayed several times, and it has been in the middle of this political tug-of-war here in France. Last week, in a surprise move, it was torpedoed by political parties, opponents of Macron's government, on the left and on the right, who just rejected it before it could even be read through in Parliament. So it's already proving to be somewhat of a humiliating spectacle. And, you know, people are saying here in France, remember that famous catchphrase from Macron's 2017 campaign? I don't know if people will remember that, but he was famous for saying, at the same time, trying to bring together ideas from the left and from the right and kind of forge a centrist path through. Well, it looks like that might have been tested to the limit and broken with this piece of immigration legislation, which he's not able, it seems, to find a way through, which includes tougher measures on one hand, but at the same time, some amnesties for these undocumented workers here in France. So perhaps that at the same time, au même temps, that has reached its expiry date. Among the French public, there's a lot of disillusionment with Emmanuel Macron and his government, and it seems that here in Parliament and across the political sphere, there is as well.